Hello and welcome. Today we're diving deep into the architecture of modern AI. We're going to peel back the layers to really understand how these incredibly sophisticated AI agents that we hear so much about are actually built. So, let's get right to it.
It's so easy to picture an AI as just one single brilliant brain, but the reality, it is so much more interesting than that. It's a really complex, interconnected system, and today we're going to uncover the recipe for how it all works.
And to make sense of it all, we're going to use a simple metaphor, the AI cake. Now, this isn't just a gimmick, I promise. It's actually a really powerful way to understand the technology stack, layer by layer, that gives an AI agent its power to reason, to remember, and most importantly, to act. So here's our recipe for today. We're going to start by mixing the foundational ingredients, then we'll build the layers that give it structure and power. We'll put in the baker, that's the core brain that brings it all together, and then finally, we'll add the finishing touches to serve it all up. By the end of this, you're going to know the entire recipe by heart.
Okay, first things first, we've got to build the base of our cake. This is all about giving our AI its core intelligence, and just as importantly, giving it a memory. Because without these, you've pretty much just got an empty cake pan.
So we're going to start at the very bottom with the most fundamental layer of all, the large language model, or the LLM. Now you'll see it's labeled here as layer 7, which comes from the original technical diagram. Don't let the number throw you. For our cake, just think of this as the absolute base. It's the flour and the sugar. It's the raw ingredient that provides the core ability to understand language and to reason. This is the cognitive engine of the entire system.
The LLM's job is really threefold. It's not just about talking. It's about, first, understanding all the nuances of a request, then thinking through the steps to solve a problem, and finally, creating a coherent plan or response. This right here is the bedrock of its intelligence. Next up, a brain is pretty useless without a memory, right? So we add the vector store, labeled here as layer 5. This provides the AI's semantic memory. Now, it doesn't just store facts, it stores the meaning and the context behind them. It's kind of like a cookbook where the AI can look up conceptually similar ideas, not just exact keywords. This is exactly how it maintains context in a really long conversation. And to complement that, we have the app database, which is layer 2 in the diagram. So if the vector store is the conceptual cookbook, think of this as the pantry. This is where it stores the hard, structured facts, things like your user profile, your conversation history, agent configurations. It's the reliable, persistent memory.
So there we have it. Let's forget the technical numbers for a second. Our foundation is built with 3 key ingredients. We've got core intelligence from the LLM, we've got conceptual memory from the vector store, and factual memory from the database. A solid base for our cake is now baked.
All right, with our base baked, it's time for the next layers. Now that our AI can think and remember, we need to give it the ability to actually do things. This is the engine layer. This is what gives our cake its unique capabilities and connects it to the outside world. So, meet the head chef, the workflow engine, or layer 3. This layer is the orchestrator. If a task requires multiple steps, like finding a customer in a CRM, then drafting an email, and then scheduling a follow-up, the workflow engine manages that entire process and handles the logic, the loops, and any errors that pop up.
Next, our AI needs tools. That's where layer 6 native functions comes in. These are like specialized kitchen gadgets. They are highly optimized little pieces of code for very specific jobs, like performing a complex financial calculation or processing a huge data set. They do one thing and they do it perfectly.
And finally, how does our AI interact with all the systems you already use every day? It does it through third-party APIs. This is like the grocery delivery service. It connects our AI to external platforms like Salesforce, Google Calendar, or your email, and it allows it to fetch data and take actions out there in the real world.
We have our foundation, and we have our engine. Now it's time for the most important part, the baker, the one who actually uses all these ingredients and tools. This is the agent core. And here it is, layer 4, the agent. It sits right in the middle of our cake, the absolute heart of the architecture. This isn't just another layer, it's the baker itself. It's the intelligent core that uses all the other ingredients and tools to achieve its goals.
Think of the agent as the master planner. It takes your complex instruction, it breaks it down, and then it strategically decides which tools to use. Does it need to check its memory, or run a workflow, or maybe call an external API? The agent makes all of those decisions, it executes the plan, and really importantly, it learns from the results.
Okay, our AI cake is fully baked and it is functional, but how do we actually interact with it? Well, that brings us to our final layer, the presentation.
And finally, the top layer, which in our diagram is layer 1, is the user interface. This is the frosting and the decoration. It's the chat window, the dashboard, the buttons you click. It's the critical bridge between us, the human user, and all of that complex machinery running underneath. It makes this powerful system accessible and, well, usable.
Okay, so we've built our 7-layer AI cake. But why go to all this trouble? Why is this layered approach the secret recipe for success?
This visual right here shows the key difference perfectly. Older, monolithic AI systems, they were like a single dense brick. If you wanted to change one little part, you basically had to rebuild the whole thing. But this layered cake approach, it's modular. You can swap out the LLM for a better one, or you can scale up your database all without touching the other layers.
And this quote from the source material really just sums it all up. It's about creating systems that are not just powerful, but also adaptable. You can tailor the recipe to your exact needs, whether you're building a simple customer service bot or a really complex data analysis agent.
So this layered architecture provides 4 key strategic advantages. You get modularity, which makes it way easier to maintain and update. You get scalability, so you can grow each part as needed, which saves money. There's flexibility, so you can add new tools and APIs easily. And crucially, you get technology independence, which means you're never locked into one vendor. You can always pick the best ingredient for each layer. So if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. A truly effective AI agent isn't just a powerful LLM. It's a complete, well-architected system, a carefully crafted recipe where every single layer plays a vital role.
This layered cake is the blueprint for today's most advanced AI agents. But it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As this technology evolves, what's going to be the next revolutionary ingredient that changes this recipe forever? Thanks for joining me.